Welcome to our fantastic agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, October 24th, 1 week till Halloween. Just giving you that warning. 2024. And this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 501. I'm just exhausted from our big celebration last week, Tim. So I've got nothing new this week. I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, I was asleep. I'm sorry. I was being exhausted. Well, it was great. You know, we weathered all the hurricanes. We've weathered all of the other fun things that have been going on in the world, and here we are, less than 2 weeks away from a big election in our country. I'm not a political speech, but make sure if you haven't yet done so and voting is allowed already, make sure you got plans to vote. Let your voice be heard. Important to exercise your franchise. You got to go do those things. That's part of being who we are. We're going to wait until about the middle of the call this time to draw our winners for the 3 prizes that we have. We made one of the conditions that you kind of had to show up, so we'll see how that works out for us. We had a bunch of people fill out the form, which is great. Excited about that. And Alyssa, make sure that in the chat right now, if you would, kindly post the link to the referral form that we put up last week. I want to make sure that everybody has that. I want to talk quickly about that, and then we'll go from there. I see Matt has joined us. Mr. Amelia is there. Wave, Matt. Say hi.
Yep, let him
Well,
in.
you could at least look up, act like you cared, you know. There you go. All right. So we posted a matchmaker form, and for those of you who weren't with us last week, I'll quickly touch on that, and then we're going to kind of open this up to you guys and have a normal call. We don't have a big theme this time. The matchmaker form is very simple. If you have a deal that for whatever reason you're not going to work and you know there's value in it and you think it might be valuable to somebody else, and it's someone you'd like us to find you a partner for who will be willing to work it on a referral basis, simply fill out the matchmaker form. And our resident matchmaker right now is Jim, and Jim will be going over all of the data that comes in. We've gotten a few already, and he goes over them and seeks out a match and pairs the 2 of you together, and they go and do their thing and list the property, and you get paid. That simple. Just another way to monetize the value of what we're bringing to the game, and we want you to take advantage of that. So the link is currently posted in chat. If you're not on the Zoom call, it's real simple. It's alltheleads.com/matchmaker. Couldn't be a whole lot more easier than that. At the bottom of your screen, you'll notice that there is in most cases anyway, I'm not sure it is on yours, but in most cases there's a raise hand button or a something that will allow you to do that. On mine, I've got a thing that says raise hand. Actually, I'm looking to refresh and it looks like maybe that's disappeared.
Yeah, reactions.
Is it in reaction now? Yeah, it is.
Yes.
No, it's recognize hand gestures. Where's raise hand? I don't see it.
Reactions. Raise hand is there.
Yeah, mine doesn't have that anymore. Weird.
Possibly because you're speaking already.
I don't know. That's bizarre. Well, anyway, the bottom line, hopefully on yours, there's something that says raise your hand. Yeah, mine probably wouldn't because you're probably correct. So it's probably been moved to react and raise hand. Anyway, raise your hand and be called on, and we'll be happy to talk to you. We want your questions. We're here to help you. That's what this call is about. Often there we see Matt has raised his hand, just indicating that things work, and maybe he's got something he would like to talk about. Mr. Matt, fire away, bud.
Yeah, thanks. So what, episode of 501? That's amazing. So right, 501 this week?
Indeed.
Awesome. So good news. We've got a client out of California. We had set up an appointment and the person was so eager they wanted to meet him on the same day. We're still trying to figure out coordination, but it seems like that might be a listing, which is awesome. So that's really good. And then I've gotten some good feedback from the training that we put together for nurtures and staying in front of folks, and friending people on social media has seemed to help some folks. So I wanted to share that.
Well, that's great. Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Great. And just for everybody's sake, I want it to be real clear to everybody. We are placing an increasing amount of emphasis on the role that Matt's team is playing in the lives of our people. We've been doing this long enough, and the satisfaction level is extremely high among our folks. Matt has done a great job of helping people understand, that this is not a flash in the pan program. Doesn't happen overnight. You got to work them, and it's just like anything else. But they're doing the work them part for you. And that's the beauty of it, is that, you can set it and forget it. You get your leads, you do what you need to go do, get them over to Matt in the quantity that you need to get them to him in, and they'll take it from there, and they will be successful. So you're going to see over the next weeks and months that we're going to be doing a lot of things to encourage you to go do that. Our sales team is going to be working hard to make sure that when they talk with you and get you rolling, that you're going to understand that that's a key part of this program. And the more they do it, the better they are in terms of they're getting better at it every day, just like you would be if you're doing it every day. And so I'm trying to make it so that you're spending your time talking to the right people, not suspects, but you're talking to real prospects who are ready to sell or ready to list. And that's what Matt's team's putting together. They are expanding to do a similar job with divorce as we are in probate, and that's growing as well. And as we introduce new modules, we'll be doing the same kinds of things with those. So we're excited about that, and we appreciate what you're doing, bud. Anyway, so that's what we're here for today. We're here to literally talk about, whatever you guys want to talk about. That's what we want to talk about. And we want to talk about the things that you're seeing, the things that are going on in your marketplace, what's working for you, what's not working for you. And, we're here to help. So please raise your hand and let us know that you're here, and we'll be happy to talk with you. Having said that, and given the fact that we're sort of waiting on people to raise their hands, I'm going to ask Steve to kind of kick in a little bit. And never mind, Steve, you're off hook temporarily. Rick, what's going on, bud? Unmute yourself there. You're still muted. There you go. We can hear you now.
Well, I was just wondering what you feel the maybe the top 5 pain points of people that have property and probate are going through. What's important to them?
You mean what are as in regard to it being different than a regular customer, maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
What they're going through. What's their pain points? I guess I don't know how else to put it.
oh, that's fine. That's a very, very good question, actually. It's a great question. So I'm going to take a quick shot at part of that, and then I'm going to ask all the rest of us to do the same thing. Obviously, I think one of the things that you need to find out is if there's a fuse that's been lit. And what I mean by that is that you need to determine, if you're talking to them once you get to this, and after you've determined indeed that there is property that they're going to need to deal with and make something happen, does it have a timeline on it? And what I mean by that is did the person that died, was the person that died the breadwinner of the family? First off, that's a real obvious one. If the person that passed away is the breadwinner and there's a mortgage on the property, it may be a problem to get that mortgage the mortgage may not be able to continue to be paid. So that's one right there. If it's a surviving spouse and the surviving spouse has health issues or care issues, that's potentially another one. You just need to find out what's motivating them and what the quick motivators are, and those are the low-hanging fruit kinds of one. Is there a need to sell the house quickly? So that's for starters. That's the ones that are going to need to take action very quickly, because the death in the family is creating an emergency in the family. So that's a key one right there. Guys, the other coaches, Jim, Steve, you're with us already, and let's kick that around a little bit. What do you think?
Steve, you want to go first?
Sure. So I'd also want to find out what they think is most important at that point. They may or may not know. And your question, Rick, is a good question, but it's rather broad too, because you got to figure out what the nuances are for everybody. It's going to be different. For some, they typically normal profiles, you got someone who has zero experience, never done this before. They're in a state of mourning. They're typically married. They've got kids and a family, various ages, as well as professional responsibilities to a W-2 job, typically, as well as personal responsibilities. So it may be finding out how you can get some momentum, providing that value, finding out. One of the questions that Bruce always likes to ask, and Chad used to say it too, is, what is it I can help you with today? What's like the top thing that is driving you nuts? And maybe sitting down with them and finding out where they are. They collected all their documents, where things are, and maybe choose, like Tim said, a low-hanging fruit in order to gain momentum. Hey, if you were to have this, you get this going, they get something done, something that shows movement, and that'll assist them. And plus, while you're doing that with them, what are you doing? You're establishing trust and rapport because you're helping them, you're providing them with value. And along the way, sure, you're going to talk about real estate. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it's about, this is a servant leadership, kind of a concept first that you want to give where, hey, I'm trying to help you, because what you don't know is how many phone calls are getting from people who just want to know about their property and has nothing to do with them, how they actually prosecute this elephant that's been placed on them while they're grieving the loss of a loved one. So, you got to do a little bit of discovery. But I totally agree with what Tim said, is understand the timeline. Many times real estate is so far down the line, you're not there yet. Or like Bruce likes to say, well, we don't know what we're going to do with it. He said, when you hear that, typically they're going to sell. It's just a matter of when. And you don't want to be in a position where you can assist them with that. You assist them with other things, other small things up front. Hey, all I'm asking is you give me a crack to provide you with some options, which I think are best for you and for the estate as to how you would, move on the disposition of the real estate. Like Tim said, they keep it in the family. I've seen where people say, oh, my brother's going to keep it. And you find out best of intentions, but the brother can't afford the house. Even if it's free and clear, can't even afford the tax on it. All right. They certainly don't want to go into a tax loan. So it's really discovery, asking questions, but more about how you can help them and lead them towards, easy solutions so they can move forward in the process. Because most times they have zero experience, and the very best they're ever going to be is at the end of the probate process when they're done. And hopefully they don't have to go through it again.
And Steve, I think Matt's going to have a more timely answer than I would, but way back when I had this idea and I was making my calls, I used to just start with a statement. I'm sure this is a difficult time for the family. What's been the most difficult part of it for you so far? And they'll tell you, and how can I help?
It's going to be yes or no. It's not a yes or no question.
Right. It's going to be different for every person. So just ask an open-ended question like that, and they'll tell you what they need help with or what they don't need help with. And Matt, I'm sure you have updated response to that.
I think I have like 6 of these written down. It's a great question, by the way, Rick. So one of them's clean out services. That's one of the things that our guys hear a lot is they'll get on a call with someone, they'll start going through and just, figuring out what's going on. And the first thing they'll say, oh, well, what's your future plans with the house? They're like, well, I don't have them yet. I got to clean out the house because I have all this stuff and I don't know what to do with it. And so there's that emotional attachment. You got dad's golf clubs that are from the 70s that are absolutely horrible. You'll never use them, but it's your dad's stuff. What do you do with it? Like, it kind of becomes like this thing that sits in the corner and collects dust, but you're so emotionally attached to that item because it reminds you of your dad. You're not going to get rid of them. So the clean out services, I think, is a big one. And then the other one too is the upkeep. And we've had a lot of folks that we've talked to about that, where they're like, well, I don't know what to do. I live, 100 miles away. The yard's going to get out of control. I'm really stressed out because, in some markets, it's starting to get cold. So you got winterizing and other things that need to be done. And then really I think the biggest thing with it not being a surviving spouse would be just like the financials, the what's next. They almost get into a point of paralysis by overanalysis and they don't do anything and it becomes a nightmare situation. So having that trusted advisor more or less to help them and guide them through the path, I think is really going to be a big one. And then of course, feud amongst family members, trying to find a way to keep all of the members of the family happy that are involved in the process. And there's a lot to unpack there, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to add to that, Matt, if you do have disputes with family members, if you do need to get rid of stuff, a couple months ago, we had the owner of fairsplit.com on here. That was extraordinary. And we've got a really good relationship with them. They'll kind of step in and either mediate or help you get rid of the stuff. And they do it in a very efficient way. There's a lot of companies around. You might have one local, but if you're looking for somebody who's pretty much nationwide, that's a good one that we'd recommend.
What is the name of it? I didn't quite understand.
I believe it's fairsplit.com. Is that right, Tim?
Yep.
FAIR split. In other words, a fair split of the assets.
Fair split.
Fair, yeah. Fair split.
I don't
FAIR.
hear so good. So I was hearing bear split. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, that works too. I bet you could probably Google it. There'd be one of those, I'm sure.
Hard to split a bear.
Yeah.
All right. But absolutely a great question. I appreciate that. And, that's one that, we sort of oftentimes, it's like of course that's a pretty obvious answer, but it isn't. And, the thing is we encourage you to, over time, to build a team of people that can, I just realized I'm playing Where's Waldo here.
Tim, you're just talking off the top of your head, what you normally do.
That was good, Jim. That was good. You're on a roll.
Thank you.
Even made a
That was
list.
pretty good.
That one. Oftentimes we encourage you to build a team of people and, have a clean out crew and have an estate sale company and certainly have, if you're a realtor, have an investor to work with. And if you're an investor, have realtors to work with and all those sorts of things. But the one thing I would encourage you is to simply get after it. And that's the main thing I would tell you is take action. The conversation part of it is important, but most of it you already have by, in just engaging in conversation. Steve said it probably best. They'll tell you, you just have to ask. And that's really the key. It could be, the motivation could be different for anybody. It's a question of, asking the right set of questions and allowing them to talk. You'll find out if they're still grieving at all. That's an easy one to determine, they'll tell you quickly if, it's somebody that was close to them and it's a problem and the house is filled with the possessions of their loved ones. And that's a great place to start. That's often a big stumbling block. And one of the biggest stumbling blocks is getting that house cleaned out and ready to sell. They just can't tackle it. It hurts their heart too much. So, those are the things you got to just ask questions and find out. And then you become the person that's answering their problems and they've already told you what to do to deal with them. Most people are just going to call up and say, hey, sell that house? Don't start there. That's a bad place.
And Tim, this should be obvious if you're working your leads, but you probably don't even need to ask. You should be able to see where the property's located or where the executor died. Where the deceased lived and where the executor lives. So if you see the property's in Florida and they're in New York, you can probably start off assuming that logistically getting rid of the stuff is going to be an issue. So you can go in knowing what questions to ask by just really looking at the data before you can get on the phone.
And one thing we haven't said, and I thought about this the last time we talked about it, meant to say it, is that it would be very interesting for you to say, if they say, well, the house is filled with, Aunt Sally's things. Well, of the things that are there, how much of the things that are there do you think you or some of the other loved ones of Sally are going to want to take? And, may have an answer for it, they may not. But are there things in there that you probably aren't going to want to take that you think have value? That way, what their perceived value is in that stuff. It will help you discuss that with an estate sale company. If they say, well, there's a set of Ethan Allen furniture that they bought for $12,000 2 years ago that's, there. Well, that has value. And if there are, other things that are part of the estate that they're not going to want to take, can't for whatever reason, can't take or whatever, that have value, now you've got something else that you can talk about. Well, good. Maybe we can help the estate monetize that. And, there are lots of ways that you can go about it, but it's all just asking the right questions, man.
Hey, Bruce, I think you had a great story on the perceived value of cars. Didn't you pick up a car and flip it at a real good deal from
Oh,
October?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I had someone that was a little tight on cash, and we were in there. We talked about listing the property. She said she wanted everything to go to her kids, but they were both minors and too young to drive. And she said, "I've got this car that my husband had in the garage," and I went out in the garage and looked, and it was a Cadillac CTS V. I don't know how many car people there are in here. I am not a car person. Steve,
I am.
you can tell me what's the Cadillac CTS-V value, not monetary, but car guys want them. And I didn't
Right.
know.
They
I
don't make
looked
them
up on
anymore.
Blue Book. It said this car is worth $8,000, and the commission that I was going to make was 10. And I felt for it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do the car in exchange for a commission, no commission." I drove the car for a couple of months and put it on the market and created a bidding war, and I got $20,000 for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that was totally unintentional. But you just have to be willing to be creative when you're talking to these. Of course, back then I had a broker. I had to go talk to my broker and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
how do we work this split out?" But it was a good deal.
He drove it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you got Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He gave the broker the rims.
yeah.
That's great. Great story. Anyway, that help you out there, Rick? Good. Yeah, you're muted again, but I'm sure that helped. And if you've got any other questions, certainly raise your hand and we'll be happy to take them. Happy. Lissa, are you about ready to rock and roll here?
Yes, I'm just putting the last few names into my.
Okay, then I'll wait till
Smiley
you're
cup.
ready. When you're ready, wave your hand and we're going to get on with giving some stuff away.
All right.
Appreciate that, and we want to live up to what we said we were going to go do. We're excited about doing that.
I think it's the first time we've done it, and we are going to make a habit of doing it every 500 calls.
Absolutely, we've already got
Okay.
plans for in 500 more months. We're going to go right back and do it again.
Our kids might have to do the next
In
one.
the meantime, I got a question, Matt, that I thought I would pose to you that someone texted in, and they were simply asking how many leads per month should they have before getting you guys started? What do they got to have in the hopper to get rolling with you guys? And I think you probably should answer that question. I'm sorry, now you can unmute.
I'll stop muting myself. So as far as the number of leads, I mean, ideally we want 100 callable leads. I mean, of course, if it's under that, I would say probably 65 to 70 is the sweet spot. And then if you have some aged leads, I mean, we can go back and call those. But normally, I mean, it takes that many leads because we have to have enough conversations, and that's going to get us more at bats. So really, it just boils down to if you have 100 callable leads or more, I mean, that's our sweet spot.
And I'll also add something to that, and that is that if you're in a small county and you don't have enough, that's not a number that you're going to regularly hit. Talk to our sales team about that, and we'll work something out with you to provide you some additional leads from other counties at a very reasonable price so that you'll have enough volume to get this done. If you're in a small county, typically you're in a marketplace where you're surrounded by other counties, whether they're large or small, but you're surrounded by enough opportunity to get this done. And we're definitely happy to help you get that done. So, please don't take the fact that you got to have that many that excludes you from doing this. We believe in doing it this way. So if you're in that circumstance, let us know and we'll work that out. And Matt will certainly work with you as well. And if you want to start and you want to do it with less and get rolling as you build it, I'm sure he's flexible in terms of doing that also. And I'm seeing him nod and he's saying, yes, let's put it this way. We'll take your money. We just want to make sure that you understand that your chances for success are best when you reach the numbers that are there. We've also had people where in the beginning we started with this, we were putting 50 in there and they were successful. So it's, you know, it's like anything else. It depends on where you are, what your market looks like, what the leads look like. You're in a hot real estate market, a lot of demand, a lot of things going on. They can do a great job for you. So don't consider this something that may exclude you from it.
And one other thing too, I wanted to add, I mean, because the folks that have like 30 leads, but they've got 7, 8, 9 months of backlogged leads, I mean, and they've never called them, but they're sending letters. We'll gladly call those as well. And we'll do like a one-time, like a one-time payment, where we'll call all of those. We'll call them all up to like 10 times. And then you'll also get access to all the training that we have. We're building out, I think I want to say we're in week 20 with our content. We're building out like email templates so that you guys can kind of plug some stuff in and just email these folks out, and just stay in front of them. And whether it's emailing, whether it's friending them on, I mean, I know it sounds weird. I've talked to so many people and they're like, you want me to friend these people on Facebook? I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, if you want to stay top of mind and then you like their stuff, comment, don't talk about probate stuff with them, just be a friend to them. And all of a sudden they're going to think about you when it comes down to selling the house. They're like, oh yeah, that's that person that always likes my stuff. Now you're going to have that person that hasn't posted since 2017. That's going to be challenging. But again, I mean, if the more they see you and the more they remember you, the likelihood of them coming to you for their real estate needs goes through the roof. So it's having that top end visibility that makes such a difference in your overall results. But as far as the amount of leads that you have, I mean, yeah, the sweet spot is like 100 leads a month. We're usually able to generate a few opportunities every single month that are solid opportunities. And then if you have less than that, I mean, if you have months prior to, we can mix and match and make it work. Or again, like Tim had said, reach out to the team and maybe look at the county next to you.
Yep. And we've always been willing to offer incentives on other counties to try and help build it up. And, in particular, and if your home marketplace is, close to the border of the county that you live in, don't just stay in the county that you're in. You're probably doing business in that other county as well. So we're happy to work with you. Steve,
Matt, there's many reasons in my opinion, many reasons for your success. But the first thing that got my attention when we started working with you is we've never had another company willing to call people 10 times for one price. I mean, that's more than our agents. That's more than our agents. Most of our agents call them. So, I mean, just right there, besides that, and the fact that you know what you're doing and, you're doing it professionally, but right there increases your odds of success exponentially.
Well, and people get pissed off. Like the people you're calling, like, who keeps calling me? And so they'll pick it up. And sometimes they answer like, hello. And then, we're like, we have this whole sheep, all shucks approach where they kind of de-escalate and then they realize we're calling to help them. And that's the biggest thing. It's being persistent and understanding that in order to get in front of these people, they're going to have other folks that are calling or doing things. And so we want to separate ourselves. The only way to do that is to not just hit them by phone, but multiple verticals. And then in addition to that, just staying consistent and constantly trying to stay top of mind and calling them as many times as possible until they're like, all right, what do you want? And that's the goal, is to get them on the phone.
Indeed. Alyssa, you ready?
I'm ready.
All
Yes.
right. Well, Jimmy, I'm going to say this wonderful celebration was somewhat your idea to begin with, so I'm going to let you call the tune here. Why don't you ask Alyssa to pick 3, 2, and 1?
Alyssa, I think I can handle that. We are giving away 3 prizes. We're going to start with 3rd place and work our way up to 1st. Is that the plan?
That'd be the plan, sir. What do they win?
All right. So 3rd place, which is $200. Is it 1? It's 2, 3, and 5. Is that correct? Okay, I got it right. All right. 3rd place winner of $200 in basically anything we offer, it could be website, it could be leads, could be mailings, is, Alyssa?
Third place is Matt Harris.
Never heard of him. Are you here, Matt?
That is, I see Matt's smiling face there, Matt.
All right, Matt.
I
This is a
unmute
lot.
you, Matt, you can say, oh, how wonderful that is. Go
Hey,
ahead.
and Matt's been around for a long time.
Matt, I'm sure this
never
is a
heard of him.
life-changing win for you, correct?
That's great. I appreciate it very much. Appreciate everything.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
In
Bruce.
second, go ahead. Do you want to say something, sir?
I'm good. Thank you all. Much
All right,
appreciated.
thank you for being here. In second place, which is $300 in goods and services, the winner is,
Sandra, oh, sorry, Sandra Glazer.
woohoo!
All right, brand new.
Andra, where are you?
She's here. I see her right now. She's down on the bottom of my screen. Sandra, are you alive and well?
She is. She just got
Nobody
here.
more-
I had a coaching
nobody-
call with her this morning. Great call.
No, nobody more deserving. Sandra has been with us since the very beginning. Multiple counties in, if my memory serves me correct, in the New York area, which is that's not a competitive market at all. And she's done great for years. So very deserving, Sandra. Thank you.
Speak up, Sandra.
She's getting going again, and she's a probate mastery. She took it in 2016. She's trying to get back in. So Bruce, she may need login to get back into that. So, but great lady.
Awesome.
Had a great conversation with her this morning. So, and I knew when I heard it, she's trying to get started again. She's on the path.
Sandra, I see that you're unmuted. Would you like to say anything? Very quietly.
You have to accept the award, or somebody else will do it on your behalf.
All right. Well, she's here and she got it, and she did post her heart up there as a reaction. So we're good to go there. Alyssa or Jim, call it out for the big winner.
And our first prize winner with a huge grand total of $500 in services credit or whatever we can do for you. And the winner is,
Mike Rossback.
Mike?
Rossback.
Well,
Yep, he's here.
yep, for sure.
where are you, Michael?
I am here.
Cool deal. Well,
I
you're
like that.
$500 better off than you were when you got up this morning.
You wouldn't believe how much I can use that.
Well, we're excited about that. And for all of you who won, our MIS team will be reaching out to each of you,
Good boy, Max.
talk to you about how to take care of that money and take care of it for you. And Sandra just chimed in and said, thanks a bunch. Her mic isn't working, so she's not talking. She just couldn't talk to us, but glad you're here. But yeah, our MIS team will reach out and help relieve you of that in goods and services. And we appreciate you being here. And all you have to do is stick around 500 more weeks and we'll do it again. You got another chance to win. So that's a great thing. Hopefully Jim and I won't be here doing this. We'll be fishing somewhere.
It'll be
all right.
Bruce.
So Alyssa, what were you going to say?
I really quickly just wanted to mention, I had a couple of chats from people asking how to get more information on the ISA service. So I just posted the link for the All The Leads website. You can fill out a form on that page. There's more information on that page, but you can fill out a form there to reach out to Matt's team directly through us. So just wanted to make sure that you guys knew how to access that info.
Absolutely. And you need to come through our door to do that, because that's how you get the special pricing that we've worked out with Matt to do this for our team.
And
So
can
that's-
I, one thing I feel is so important that I think people don't even realize, you guys also do skip tracing for them in the background. That makes a world of difference. And it's a lot of time. So, I mean, the quality of the data has been really good. When we get them on the phone, I mean, it's the right person. And that doesn't happen with everybody. There are a lot of other lead providers that the data is not right. So that's kudos to you guys. That's awesome.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, we've spent, it's probably, since it's our 500th time, I'll just add this little quick bit of history. When we first started, Jim and I and the other two fellows that started this, Chad and Tom, we had no idea how big this was going to get. We had no concept of what it was going to look like or anything else. And we just kind of, sat around a table one day down at the beach and said, hey, let's go take a whack at doing this. And so we did. We went out and found some people who'd provide us with some leads. We knew we had a bunch of people in the industry, contact-wise, that would probably be interested in them if we'd package them up, and we'd sell them at a little bit of margin and make a little money along the way, and life would be good. And we were all, we had no anticipation that this was going to turn into a big opportunity like this. And it took off literally week one. We were pretty successful. We found that this was a niche in the marketplace that was underserved. And in the beginning, we were kind of the only serious player out there. There were other people that were offering leads up, but they weren't offering them with support and the other things that we did. And along the way, we added the first real thing that we added was our print capability, so that we do all the mailing for you. So we added that, and we got that done. Obviously, we do credibility websites, which we've been doing since the beginning. We were a website company before we were a lead company. And so we've been providing websites. We've done over 30,000 websites in the history of the company. And we really didn't know what we were going to go do. And in the beginning, we didn't want to necessarily be a collector and a data company, because it looked like a great big pile of work to go do. And over time, what we realized was that we were getting data in, and we were spending a lot of time proofing the data out from other people's resources. And we said, why not start and get it ourselves, and let's do this the right way. So we did. We began to collect it ourselves and undertake the, monumental task of being good at doing that. Through the years, we've found that we've perfected our resources. We put every lead that comes in through as many as 32 steps, depending on what we find in the lead when we get it. We put it through as many as 32 steps to proof it out, to make sure the phone numbers are correct. We send it through the do not call list. We make sure that any mail that goes out is deliverable. We try and find the email addresses for the people that we're providing. We do all the things that, Matt is referring to on the skip trace side. And it's not just one resource we use to do that. Right now, I think there are about 6 different other providers that we use. In addition to that, we've got a staff of people that do this. So they look at it, and if it passes a certain threshold that we can deal with mechanically by sending it out to do the third-party automation that we do to pull that down, that's fine. If it doesn't, we literally manually, step by step, lead by lead, go out and populate the data. We have a bunch of manual resources that we can look at. If we can't find it, under machine control, we go find it manually and get it done. So we work really, really hard to make that stuff happen. And we're real proud of the data that we provide. And, in the beginning, we weren't as proud of it as we are now, because it just wasn't there. But, Matt brought it up, and I think I'll just point that out, that we're the best in the business. And that's one thing we're justifiably proud of. So that's my commercial for why we're good at what we do at this point. But
Hey, Tim, since nobody else has their hand up, I would just say probably the most common, we don't get many complaints, but I always hear I often will hear a comment like, oh, one of your phone numbers was wrong. And people don't understand how we get them. The first column of data, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, are phone numbers that we find in the court records where the probate is filed, and that's pretty rare. Most courthouses don't provide that. And then the second through fifth columns are decreasing confidence. So in other words, your first column's your best. The second, I would call right away. That's often a cell phone. By the time you get to the third, fourth, or fifth column, it very well could be somebody with a similar name in the same area. So it's not that none of the phone numbers are ever wrong. It's just we're taking 5 good guesses, and the first and second guess are probably going to be where you want to spend most of your time, and just go to the third, fourth, and fifth if you don't have any luck in that first column. Is that what you're pretty much finding, Matt? You start with the first one, you work your way down?
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest thing is you guys are like doing the skipping beforehand. So like we've got the top couple numbers that we want to focus on.
Right.
And I mean, I can name on one hand maybe how many times people are like, you've got the wrong number. Like it's very rare. And that's unheard of in this industry, because there's a lot of games in town and there's a ton of different lead providers. But the biggest thing with, what you guys have, like the quality of the data is what makes a world of difference, because you could have the best callers in the world. You can have the best unique selling propositions. You can differentiate yourself from every other person out there. But if you're calling a bunch of the wrong telephone numbers, none of that matters. So that's the very first thing that I tell everybody if they're like, oh, I don't know which company to go to. I'm like, well, give these guys a shot because they've got by far the best data. And that's what I've seen from our callers. Even they're like, yeah, we talked to, like, when they get them on the phone, they're the right people, which is doesn't happen all that often. So you guys are doing, amazing things with the data.
And we do the same thing, whether it's divorce or probate or pre-probate, any of the products that we have the same level of detail that we pull for all that information. It's just that the people that we're pulling it for are in different circumstances. So we provide, we believe, the best and most actionable data in the industry. And, it's what we take pride in doing. It's why we built the company the way we did. So we appreciate that. Thanks for saying that, Matt. That's great. I mean, you have a pretty objective viewpoint, not only because, we're throwing business your way, but you also deal with other providers. And I think that's important.
There's massive providers. I don't, I won't, all I will say is this, your guys' data is better than a lot of the other companies out there. And that does make a huge difference. And for everyone watching, no, we didn't even talk about this before the call, but I mean, it is a massive difference maker. And that's really what, we can attribute a lot of the success to.
We not only didn't talk about it, but this is rare that we talk about ourselves at all. It's just nobody's raising their hand. So if you don't want to hear more about Tim and Jim and all the leads, raise your hand and ask a question, guys. How can we help? Thank you, Matt. I'm just kidding. We sincerely appreciate it. But how can we help you guys? What issues are you running into? Bruce, you have anything you want to add in the world of coaching our clients out there? What are you running into? Oh, good. We got a hand raised. Saul.
Yeah, we got a hand raised. I am gonna bring one thing up. I brought it up a couple of days ago on our coaching call for mastery students. Is that you guys really have two goals in your business. First goal is you've got to establish contact. It's almost as simple as that. You have to make contact. And so this is the first rule. 1A is make contact. 1B is understand what they're really telling you. Understand what they're really telling you. You can't hear someone say, no, I don't need anything, and think that there is no business opportunity and that they really don't need anything. You can't be under that assumption. A lot of times there's a need, they just don't know what it is. And if they did know what it is, you're a stranger on the phone, a stranger at the door, a stranger that was referred to them, and they're probably not going to show you their whole hand, and that's normal. Don't be a jerk and tell them they're wrong. Use it as an opportunity to build rapport and dig a little deeper. So number one, make contact. Number two, if you're going to have predictable, consistent business in the long run, be remembered. One of my students called me last Friday and said, I am going through probate personally. I filed probate on Thursday. On Friday, I got 2 calls. And he said, I'm a little worried I'm late to the game. And I said, what's rule number 1? He said, make contact. Did they follow rule number 1? Yes, they followed rule number 1. Then I said, what are their names? And he said, Bruce, I don't remember. Those people that did a great job following rule number 1, making contact, got 50% of the equation right. But he doesn't know who they are. They were just voices on the phone. So be remembered. How are you guys going to do that? You do that through marketing. You do that through content generation. You do that through follow-ups. So don't expect everyone in your lead list to go, oh, thank God you called. I'm ready to do business right now. That's not the way that it typically goes. But so many of them are going to turn into a business opportunity for you. And more importantly, turn into someone that you can help, that you can make a difference in their life. And I hope that you're altruistic enough to where that is an actual goal of yours. If it's not, I'll incur, there's still business for you, but probably not as much as if you had good intentions and were altruistic with what you were trying to do. So pair those two things together. So remember, make contact, be remembered. All right.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to ask you again to unmute so that you can speak, but I want to say one other thing, and then we're going to call on Saul and Mark, but I just want to make one other point. Other thing about these calls, all these 500 weeks that we've been doing this, almost every call that I've personally ever been on of this kind of nature, where a company puts this call on. It's the international hour of hype. It's, don't do very much, let us do all the work for you. It doesn't cost you a lot and you'll make a lot of money. That's not what we're about here. We're not here to, blow smoke and, tell you how easy the world is and everything else. We're here to tell you how to do it right. And we're here to answer your questions and hopefully be able to make it easier on you, educate you in the process. A lot of people are trying to sell you a lot of education that you can't implement. And that's one of the things that Bruce does very well in the training that he provides. Bruce is one of the best people in the world at teaching you how to implement it. And it's based also on what your own capabilities are. Everybody can't do everything the same way. Everybody doesn't have the same gift of gab. Everybody's not comfortable on the telephone or as comfortable as others. So our job is to maybe help you get better at that. And if not, find somebody who can do it for you. Everybody's not good at everything. You're good at things that I'm not good at. I'm hopefully good at a few things, and I find other people who are better at things that I'm not good at to do. And I've learned a lot about that through my own business career, to try to surround myself with people who are really good at things that I know I stink at, detail being one of them. Everybody who they're all nodding. Everybody who works with me will tell you that detail is not my long suit. I'm pretty big at staying up at 30,000 feet and trying to see what's going on, and I hope everybody does really well. And if they don't, well, that's not going to work very well for me. But been fortunate to surround myself with people who are real good at doing that. And we're a good implementation company because we've got good people. And you're in the same boat. We're trying to provide you those good people and good incentives to go find them. So this is not an hour of hype. Make sure you're here every week and join us to do that. That's important. Hey, Saul, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning. Am I still unmuted?
You are, sir.
Nope.
All
we're
right.
good.
All right. So I need some advice from you guys. I have a different situation. I'm working my leads, and I did look up the property, and it's vacant land. So it's raw land. It's 3 parcels. It's all buildable land. It was recently bought maybe about a year and a half ago. But that's the problem. I can't reach out. Well, I don't know how to reach out, because if I reach out, there's nothing I can help them with. As in, I can't have a clean out, or I can't have any kind of estate sale. So how would you approach that? I'm even going to stop the letter. I need to make a phone call, and I haven't done it yet. So what
Hey,
would you
before
do?
anybody answers, were you on last week's call, Saul?
No, I was not.
Sounds like a TV show. Just call Saul. We had a guy on there who had 3 parcels of land that he turned into a ridiculous amount of money. And I don't remember the step-by-step process. Maybe somebody could recount or go back and watch the beginning of the last call if you want some generic advice.
Okay.
Other than that, one of my partners, you want to tell him what to do with vacant
Real
land?
quick, first question is where is it located? Where are you?
At Olympia, Washington.
Okay. And is it
And
a
as
desirable area?
Yes, as an investor, it's very buildable, and obviously it's zoned for multifamily. As a real estate agent, I know it's very sellable because it's a good area.
And do the people, the executor and the personal representative and all that, are they local as well?
Not at all. They're in California. As a
Okay.
matter of
There you
fact, the decedent lived in California, which is strange to me because they bought it and they didn't even live here.
Sounds like a great opportunity. Bruce, want to kick in there,
No,
buddy?
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, just change your approach a little bit. This is one of those where I'm gonna basically give you air quotes permission to go straight after the real estate. We typically don't encourage most people to do that when you've got someone that's got a bunch of real estate. There's houses that are involved that might need clean outs and estate sales and locks changed and all that. But raw land, I'm probably just gonna kind of take more of what I would call the wayward queen approach, which is an aggressive basic chess tactic where you go for the win right away. And hey, Saul, I don't know if I have the right number. This is regarding the estate of John Smith. I noticed that there was a piece of land up here in my county. I don't know if you're aware of that. Are you familiar with that property? I'm looking for some property like that, or I have some investors that are looking for property like that. I was wondering if you guys were planning on holding on to it and maybe building, or if it's something that you'd consider selling if I could get you a good price. Straightforward, nothing nuanced about it. They're probably not gonna have any plans for that land. That's my bet. And if they don't, then they're probably it's unlikely that they're gonna resist that call a whole lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Out of market stuff like that you're getting, those are some of your best opportunities because they're not there. They're not local. Not only do they maybe not know necessarily what it's worth, and that's not giving you the opportunity to do subterfuge. No, they can go look it up just like you can. People can find comps. So don't, use that as an excuse to, not be truthful, and not that you wouldn't do that. That's not my point. But I'm saying they typically don't have plans for it if they're not there. And that's Bruce's point. That's the key element, is that if they don't have a plan for it, you do. And you know that it's a saleable piece of property. That's why I ask you the questions to begin with. You've already got all the right answers. Just start the conversation. As soon as this call's over, pick up the phone and start making phone calls. Call them.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, bud. Good deal. All right, so we've got 4 hands in the air. We've got we're at the top of the hour, getting close to it. We're going to take all the calls today since it's our 500th. Anybody else raises your hand in the next 10 seconds, we'll talk to you. Otherwise, we're going to get through these 4 and we'll get through them all. Mark, what's up, man?
Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Good, bud.
Hey, a little kudos to Matt. I actually listed a house today that they got my first appointment. It actually wasn't an appointment. It was a nurture. And it said in the Alex, I guess, they're all Alex, but said that, hey, follow up with them, maybe give them a second opinion. It sounds like they already have a realtor picked out. So I called, followed up with them, ended up building rapport, went and looked at it last week, listed it today. So good deal.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Finally worked out since April. I know I've been kind of, come on, you guys, let's go. Get me an appointment. But that one was actually a second opinion is what they wanted. So anyway, hey, the other thing real quick, I know I do a lot of foreclosures. Are you guys going to start with that sometime this year, next year? Also, I got an idea, 2 ideas, marriage leads and births, new births. Are those public information? Because I used to call those all the time and get a lot of business, and I don't see that as even an option.
You're like the second person in the last probably 30 days who's talked to us about marriage leads. People are getting married.
Yeah, I think that would be better than calling divorce leads.
Well, yeah, except in some cases you're right. And certainly if you're an expert in the marriage side, one of the things that you've got to be really, really good at is obviously you're going to have to come with financing. I don't mean you have to provide it, but that's your big lure there. Is a lot of young couples that are just getting married is like, well, we can't afford to buy because we're just getting started. So you got to have some inventory, and you got to find them the right place, but also find somebody who will work with them to get them papered. But those are good things, and I appreciate it. That's where our stuff comes from.
And Mark, I would state the obvious that you're probably going to get more buyer leads than seller leads with the marriages. Probably, not necessarily if they're getting married later in life, but just be aware of that. If that's what you're looking for, it's a great opportunity.
Well, if they're polygamous, they may have, a lot of property to offer.
Except in Utah. Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Never
man.
know.
Rough crowd.
Oh no, we're getting really politically incorrect here. I know that is
Keep your day job.
There goes another HR complaint. I'm going to get fired.
All right.
David, what's up, bud? Unmute yourself. There you go. What's up?
Hey Tim, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I had a quick question. I had a lead that I've been trying to get in contact for a while. Like I contacted him back, I want to say like in February, March. He was telling me that he went down to the surrogate's office, I think he said, and he initiated the probate process. He said his sister owned it with him, but she had passed away. But it's hard to get him on the phone. So my question is, because he doesn't really pick up often, like months ago by no answer. He picked up today. I called him like twice and he picked up. So he was saying he's supposed to get paperwork back within another week or so. So my question was, if he doesn't call me back in a week or so, like would I come off as like a pest if I call him back in like a week or two just to
Nope.
check in?
If
Because
you don't call him back, what's going to happen?
what's
He's gonna
that?
go with somebody
If
else.
you don't call him back, what is going to be the result?
So that's what I was thinking in my mind. I'm like, if I don't call him back, he's probably going to try to sell it himself, or somebody else might contact him. Like as soon as he, starts the probate process, now it's public information. So I kind of wanted to crack down on.
It's great when you answer your own question,
A good
I just wanted
a good rule of thumb, whatever period they tell you, cut it in half at least. So,
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to confirm with you guys because I didn't want to come off like rude or disrespectful, because the way he said it, he was like, I got your number. Like, I'll call you. I got you. Because I guess I think he purposely does ignore my phone call. So that's kind of why he said it the way he did.
What have you done to follow up with him through your marketing?
What was that?
What have you done to follow up with him through your marketing?
I call him, I text him. He never answers text messages, never.
Okay.
But I just keep texting him and kind of praying. Hopefully one day he'll text me back, but he doesn't. And then he'll pick up during like random times of the day. Like I used to catch him around like 6, 7-ish at night, and then he stopped answering. So I switched up my routine and started calling him like early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally picked up today. So I think I'm gonna
Yeah. Have you send a note, send a brochure, send a letter, send a package, send him some things. A lot of people are in a position, some people are in a position where they can spend money on cold marketing. If somebody is not in a position where they can spend money on cold marketing, you better spend money on warm marketing. Once you've had a conversation, they need to be getting stuff from you that they can keep in the mail. So phone has kind of proven to this point to not be the formula for him.
Yeah.
So try a different approach. I'm not saying scrap the phone. I'm saying add in a couple of other approaches. So if you have an email, you should be in the email box. You should be in the mail. You should drop things off at the house, preferably things that are keepable. A postcard or a letter, those aren't necessarily keepable unless you say in the letter, save this and call me later. That makes it a little bit more keepable, but maybe a couple of inserts in there, like a brochure or a checklist or something like that, is going to help it stick around a little bit.
Okay, I appreciate that, Bruce.
David, the other thing to keep in mind with this is that anything that he's going to say, if you're worried that he's going to say, oh, you're pestering me to death, all this, listen, here's the thing. I work really hard at what I do. Just imagine how hard I'll work for you.
I like that. I might have to take that. I like that line.
Turn it right back around on him. And if anybody that says you're beating him up too hard, say, hey, I get that, but this is how I make my living. And just imagine how hard I would work for you if we get this going. That's what we need to get going with here. I'm here to help you. So make sure you bring that up and go get him. Okay.
Okay. Just one last quick question. I did ask him, just to kind of like gauge how serious he is about selling the property. I asked him, I said, hey, do you even have like a price in mind that you would, consider taking for the property? But he said no. He was like, I haven't even thought about it, haven't looked into it. So I was wondering if he gives me the same answer again, would it be best for me to because usually when a person gives me that kind of answer, I kind of like price out, like give them a number that I can do for them. Is that do you think that would still be a decent approach?
Where are you located? Where's the property located? Where?
Here, I'm in Burlington County, New Jersey.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
And you know where the property is? Are you familiar with the area that it's in?
Yeah, I found it driving for dollars. Yep.
All right. So, why don't you ask him to meet you at the property and at least walk through it?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a good way to process. Say, look, I realize maybe you're not ready yet, but you're going to get there, and be persistent and say, I'm going to be up there on Tuesday. Is it possible you can be there?
Okay. I'll do that. That's not a problem.
All right, bud.
David, I was going to play Bruce a little bit. I can hear Bruce saying, hey, I know you have absolutely no idea what you want for it.
Yeah.
But I may have a buyer. If I were quoting a price to a buyer, what do you think it would be?
Okay. I do
They'll
like that.
ask them a different way, and sometimes the second or third time they'll, well, somewhere in the neighborhood of, if you can get any kind of neighborhood out of, you know, you have a better idea what to do with it.
Okay. Yeah, because typically I literally just start with like the tax assessed value and then kind of go from there. That's typically how I start off my offers when someone just says they don't have a clue.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
we've
I
got a lot of
appreciate
different ways to go there. Obviously, the one thing I would say about that is be aware that almost anybody today has the ability to, you know, they can go on Zillow and look stuff up and they may know
Yeah.
some other stuff. So don't assume that they're not going to be smart enough to call your bluff there. Tell them that you're, you know, the tax assessor has it on the rolls for this.
Okay.
And that's a reasonable place to start is, you know, is that a dollar amount that works for you? That's what it's on the tax rolls for. And,
Okay.
you know, but qualify it. Don't try to, you know, if you tell them that and, you know, it's under taxes on it's on the rolls for 160 and you know it's worth 320, you shoot yourself in the foot. Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good deal. Sandra, unmute yourself there.
Our big winner.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Ah, awesome. I just want to say thank you very much for your the gift. I hear like echoing.
Yep.
There's an echo.
Oh boy, I don't know why.
That's
Anyway,
all
I'm
right.
making thank you for the gift, and I want to say I had a wonderful class with Steve. He's awesome.
Steve
Thank
is.
you.
All
That's
right,
good.
so because
We
there's the
appreciate you,
echo.
Sandra. You've been around a long time with us, so we appreciate
Yep.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome. We think Steve's pretty great too, but we appreciate hearing that. Thank you so
He
much.
is a jerk sometimes, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. He's
I was
he's
gonna
been
say
a jerk
after the
sometimes
call.
when he shouldn't.
Andy, you know what? You're going to get the last word today, buddy.
All right, good. I have good news, so we'll end on a high note.
Good.
Last week, I listed a property for sale that I got from All The Leads. It's my first probate listing. It's also my first real estate listing. It was on the market for less than 12 hours. I had 2 offers on it, and we're contingently under agreement.
Dang, buddy, that's awesome.
So thank you, All The Leads.
Well,
Thank you,
super.
Bruce.
Great.
What a great way to end the call. And I suspect in addition to the other 3 winners, you probably might sound like the winner of the week. I don't know. Could be. What do you think, Jimmy?
I think we had Saul and Andy both had very similar stories. And I was just going to say what struck me as a commonality between the two of you, it wasn't your first set of leads. You've been doing this for a few months. So it took a while. I was going to say that to Saul. Congratulations on not being a one and done. You'd be amazed how many people, I didn't do anything in my first set of leads. You know, I go try something else. You guys have stuck with it for a few months. It took that while, it took that long to produce, but believe me, with the way both of you are and the way you work them, it's just the first of many. So thank you. That's great. I think we got 2 winners. I think we make an exception and do 2 winners of the week.
And for Saul, this was actually raw land too. So
beautiful.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, it's all good. And people said nice things about Steve. So, I mean, you know, how bad could it be? It's a big day.
Except for Bruce. Except for Bruce, who thinks I'm a jerk.
You know, Bruce was late today, so it's his fault.
I'll take it. From Bruce.
Before we sign off, I just want to say congratulations to our winners and thank you guys from bottom of my heart and all of our families' hearts and all that for allowing us to be part of your lives. We appreciate that. We've been at this a long time and, you know, everybody says the same thing. Oh, you know, thank you for letting us come into your homes. It sounds like an old TV show of some kind, but it's true. If it wasn't for you and you didn't believe in us and the things that we do for you and appreciate what you do, we wouldn't be here. So it's very rewarding and it was a great call and we're glad to do this and we're going to find other things to celebrate as the time goes on and we look forward to doing more of this. Jimbo, send us to the barn, buddy.
Another great call. Again, congratulations to our winners of the week. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today, particularly those that actively participated. Matt, Rick, Bruce, Saul, Mark, David, Andy, and Sandra, as well as all of our great coaches. So hey, Steve, I remembered you this week. There you go. So I want to challenge each of you. Take one thought, one idea, one story that inspired you. Go out and put that technique into practice and come back next Thursday and share the results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you for number 502 next Thursday. Take care.
Bye, guys. Thank you.